Hi, it's Vu from Be Bigger. I spent a ton of time last week speaking about functional training and why burpees are truly the king of all functional exercises. And the reason was, burpees are so much more than just a function of strength and endurance. In fact, to perform the perfect burpee, you need the right combination of agility, mobility, flexibility, stability, coordination, and reflexes. But when it comes to functional training, or more specifically the training of movements, you really have to begin with stability. It's the foundation of all movement. So with that being said, what exactly is stability? Simply put, having stability means having the ability to stay upright or standing as your center of gravity is shifted and your balance is challenged. Have you ever wondered how or why, on a daily basis, you're able to walk without falling? Even though technically, as you walk, you are constantly standing on one leg. But that's because we are in a perpetual state of stability, always resisting against external forces such as gravity. If we didn't have a grasp of stability, our walking might look a little bit like this. You see how unstable that is? Now, let's go back to the question of how and why we're good at walking. Remember functional training? Well, it really doesn't get any more functional than walking. In fact, inherently, we've been practicing and perfecting this movement ever since we were babies. And therefore, our joints, our muscles, our body have grown and adapted to the small shift in gravity that occurs when you walk. But let's be serious. On an average day, each and every one of us do so much more than just walk. We run from meeting to meeting. We pick up our kids, we carry groceries, we throw footballs, we run, we jump, we play. All of which are so much more complex in movement and challenge your stability so much more than the simple act of walking in a straight line. But that's exactly why training your stability is so important. With that being said, I know that more often than not, stability training is associated with your elite athletes because of the aggressive way that they move their bodies, such as when they're jumping or cutting, and the external forces that their bodies are subject to, such as taking contact from another player. But let's not sell ourselves short. Each and every one of us is in a perpetual state of movement, and our every movement can be made easier if we train and develop our stability. So by now, it shouldn't surprise you when I tell you that training your stability involves exercises and movements that shift your center of gravity and challenges your balance. And by doing that, you not only challenge and strengthen your core, but also the stability muscles around your ankle, knee, and hip joints. Personally, I like to use resistance bands because their uniform resistance is really friendly on the joints, but also because they're not dependent on gravity, I can start to challenge my stability in all three dimensions. When I train my stability, I like to introduce a unilateral or one-sided load, or reduce my base of support by raising either one of my legs, or getting into an isometric hold, or some combination of the three, and then introducing some movement. Without further ado, here are some of the exercises that I do to train my stability. Alright guys, the first stability exercise I'm going to show you is the unilaterally loaded back lunge with knee raise. The term unilateral means one-sided, so I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to load one side of my body like this, and effectively, that's going to shift my center of gravity towards the side of the load. And as you can see, unless I have complete control of my body, it's going to want to tilt towards the side of the load. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to engage my core, bring me to upright and neutral position. As you can see, I'm not using very much load. Stability exercises don't require very much. Once I feel like I'm in control, I'm going to proceed to my back lunge. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of assistance from the assistance mechanism. And again, I'm not using very much assistance. It's just making sure that I can proceed in as controlled a manner as possible. Lunges really don't get the credit they deserve because most people don't understand how complex they really are. As you can see, it involves the movement of multiple joints, my ankles, my knees, and my hips, and it engages multiple muscles, big muscles, my quads, my hamstrings, and my glutes. So I'm going to do a few more reps, And all these repetitions allow my neuromuscular adaptation to kick in, and that's my brain and muscle connection. So that's going to help me get used to the movement, and it's going to help me develop the stability before I progress into the next stage. So once and only once I feel like I have complete control, I'm going to introduce the knee raise. And that looks like this. As you can see, my standing leg is fighting to keep me upright and to keep me from falling. This exercise is not only good for core strengthening and stability, it's engaging and developing all the stabilization muscles through my ankles, my knees, and my hips. All right, I'm done. On to the next exercise. The next stability exercise I'm going to show you is a variation or modification of everybody's favorite back row. I call it the single-legged, three-dimensional stabilization back row. I know, it's a mouthful. So once again, I'm going to shift my center of gravity, but this time I'm going to do so by introducing light resistances in all three directions. I must emphasize the word light because you really can't go heavy on these exercises. And very shortly here, you're going to understand exactly why I call it three-dimensional. I'm literally going to be pulled, and my stabilization is going to be challenged in all three directions. So to start, I'm going to remove my base of support by extending one of my legs. And as soon as I'm ready, as soon as I feel like I'm in a good spot, I'm going to slowly introduce a unilateral static load. Like this. And as you can see, the instant I picked up the load, my body wanted to tilt this way. So what do? I'm going to engage my core and bring myself back up to neutral or upright position. And as you can see, this in itself is challenging enough. My legs are wobbling as the stabilization muscles around my ankles, my knees, and my hips are fighting to keep me upright. So, as if it wasn't hard enough, I'm going to slowly introduce some movement by introducing the back row. As you can see, this is very, very difficult. You got it? Good. You might look at this movement and think that it's not very functional, but imagine bending over and picking up your children and placing him or her on a single shoulder. Or bending over and reaching into your trunk to grab us some groceries. You guys gotta do them. Alright, the last stability exercise I'm going to show you is called the standing figure 4. Once again, I'm going to shift my center of gravity, but this time I'm not going to introduce an external resistance. I'm simply going to use my body weight, and I'm going to get into an isometric hold. And what isometric means is that my muscles won't be contracting or lengthening. I'm simply going to get into a position and I'm going to hold it. So once again, I'm going to remove my base of support by raising one leg. I'm going to take that ankle and place it above the other knee. And whenever I'm comfortable and I feel like I have a nice base of stability, I'm going to lower myself slowly, slowly, slowly. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of assistance from the assistance mechanism. It's not very much, but it is a challenging exercise. So I want that peace of mind, and I want to move and proceed in as controlled a manner as possible. Okay, I feel like I have a nice base, so I'm going to slowly, slowly, slowly lower myself. As you can see, this knee is wobbling. All the stabilization muscles around my ankles, my knees, and my hips are firing to keep me from falling. As an added bonus, this is an awesome piriformis stretch. And the piriformis is a small muscle right behind your glutes. And this muscle gets tight throughout the day as you're sitting. And a tight piriformis can really, really limit the range of motion on your squats and your lunges. You're going to want to stretch this. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And when I've had enough, I'm going to slowly come on out. And that's your standing figure 4. Alright, that's it guys. I hope that I helped you realize the value and importance of stability in your day-to-day life. I encourage you to get out there and start training your stability immediately. Take care.